Today, I want to clarify a few terms for you that you hear in the translation industry. Hi, my name is Jason Ellinger. I'm the CEO of Taika Translations. We're a multi-million-dollar translation and digital services company. One, certified translation. Documents like birth certificates, anything you're going to submit to immigration, court transcripts, these are all going to need to be certified. Certified translation is when you place the responsibility for the document, for what is on that document, into the hands of someone else, and they sign that verifying it's correct. So it's very important that when you do a certified translation that you use a professional translator who's been in the business, who understands the responsibility and can back up that translation that they have certified. So certified translation is simply your document plus the translation plus a signed certificate. That's certified translation. All right, so notarized translation, it means a few different things in different places. And this is important because when I and my wife is a foreigner, and she migrated to the United States, became a US citizen. When we were going through this process, we had to submit a lot of different documents. I mean, we had to get some certified, some notarized, and some apostilled stuff. And particularly when we were submitting her documents for transferring her degree, because she finished her university degree abroad, and when she came to the United States, all of that had to be converted to the US system so that it could be recognized in the United States. So we had to translate her transcripts. We had to get a company to basically convert all of her academics to the US standard and manifest what those credits were. And we had to get some of these documents notarized. And so throughout the process of doing that, of course, we had to go get the documents translated, and then they gave us the translated copy plus the new copy, and then we got that certified, and then we got all that notarized. So some documents are going to need to take that step, and this is also a way I'll mention this in a little bit just about legalized translations to try to help clarify that. But some documents are going to need to be notarized, and when you need notarization, it's a very legal step in the process of translating where the person providing the service, or the company or the agency providing the service to you, they take on that full responsibility and they sign their name to the bottom of this, saying like, if this is messed up, it's our fault. It's not this person's fault who submitted it to you. And that's very important. I know it sounds similar to the certified translation, but it's slightly different. You take the original document, plus the translated copy, plus the certificate from the translator. And on the bottom of that, there's one more document with another statement and the notarization certification. So it's a little bit bigger of a deal than simply getting your translator's certificate. However, what falls into this is applications for residence permits and academic translation type documents, just like I mentioned previously, and other applications that you might be submitting abroad. And once this document is assembled, this is often mentioned as an affidavit. So this whole package is like an affidavit for that original document that you have submitted, that you need to be submitting. So, all right, so we're going to move forwards to the next one, and that is apostille. Apostille translation. So what is it when we do an apostille? A lot of times, so a document that's issued by the federal government or the state government can be apostilled. Those are the documents that can be apostilled. So in the Convention of The Hague, there's like 72 countries that accept this agreement around the world. You might be going to a place that doesn't accept apostilleship, because an apostille is a specific agreement among a bunch of countries that say, this is the rules that we will all agree upon. If a document is apostillized, we will accept it as a legalized document, or as a legalized representation of that document. And so when you get an apostille document, you have your document, and you take it down to the state office in your area, and they can provide an apostille for that document. And then you take they make a package basically, and they put a stamp on it, and you take that and give it to the translating company, and then that translation can get certified and notarized. So you have apostilled, certified, and notarized document, and that pretty much will be accepted anywhere in the world. The apostille has a lot of weight to it. So even in countries that don't accept they're not a part of the apostille, the Convention of the Hague, they can accept it. But basically, if you do that trifecta, apostilleship, certification, and notarization, it should be accepted anywhere. There was one time when I went to, well, it was still a notary, but United States citizens might not know this. I was abroad and I had to do an emergency document for one of my children, and I needed to go get a notarization for this document, and I was not in the United States at the time. So what do? I went to the United States Embassy, and they provided that service for you. So that's like a pro tip. If you're abroad, you can go get notarization services right at your United States Embassy in emergency situations. Okay, so that's the apostille. I hope I've made that clear. But these are government issued documents issued by the Department of State. The apostilleship is issued by the Department of State, and or other offices like in the UK, like the Foreign Commonwealth Office. So in other countries, they have apostille offices in those countries that provide the apostilles. Then you provide those documents to the translation office, and then you can continue to get your document translated and processed. I'm going to switch now to sworn translation. So sworn translation. In civil law countries, they have this thing called sworn translators. These are actually translators who have gone through a professional education program, and they've been certified by the federal government in that country to be able to provide translation services at the legal level. And this is a very specific and very, I would say, among the translators, it's one of the more powerful legal translators, and they provide the translation service plus their statement, and that in those countries, for example, France is one, I believe Germany is one, I think Belgium is one. They can provide those legal translation services, and those will be accepted along with their certificate by any of the offices in that country regarding the processing of or accepting of legalized translation. So it's a really good translation to have, but you do have to know the nuances around where it can be submitted, who can accept it. If I provide it, if a French translator in France provides a sworn translation, will it be accepted in the United States? And do those certificates transfer? Like that stuff, it can be kind of nuanced like that. So you have to make sure that you understand what can be submitted. And so sworn translations, they are translators certified by that country where they've been educated and where they've got their sworn translation certification, and they are allowed to translate and provide documents to that country as a legal identifying and accurate copy of whatever it is that you've submitted to them for translation. So there's one more I want to talk about, and it's called legalized translation. And legalized translation, basically in most of the countries that they don't have the apostille, and they don't accept the apostille, you're going to need to do a legalized translation. And so what is the legalized translation process? Basically, and most of the time, what I see in countries where you need a legalized translation, you're going to be able to get away with doing your certificate of translation and your notary. Those two documents typically are enough to be able to take your original document, translate it, and do the certificate of accuracy or certificate of translation, and then provide the notarization to that whole package, and they should accept that. That's not a guarantee in all countries, but a lot of places that we see where they're not a part of the Convention of the Hague, you don't deal with it all the time, but it is important enough, and it is a phrase out in the marketplace that, okay, it's important enough to talk about it because it can be confusing if you hear that phrase and like, well, I heard about sworn translation, I know about certified translation, I heard about notarization, but what about legalized translation? And so I just wanted to provide a little bit on that just to make sure that it was clear. Okay, so where do I get all of this done? Taika Translations does all of them. you can go to taikatranslations.com. We've got 15 years of experience. Like I said, we're a multi-million-dollar translation and digital services company. We've been doing this for years. We've done thousands and thousands and thousands of these types of translations for people doing all kinds of stuff all over the world. And we have never had a document that we've translated, certified, notarized, or work with the client to do the apostleship stuff and get all this done that hasn't been accepted. So if you're out in the marketplace and you need this process done, or you don't know what you need for the office that you need to submit your content to, contact us, projects@taikatranslations.com, or you can contact us at 830-355-2205. And we can help you understand exactly what you need in your country or wherever you're going, so that you can understand what you need to get submitted. In addition to that, we've got vendors in countries all around the world that, if you need us to, we can contact those vendors and ask them to connect with the office that you're submitting your documents to and find out concretely what do you need to submit so that it will be accepted. And this will reduce your headaches. It will help you make sure that when you're submitting your documents, you're not wasting time and getting rejected because you didn't have all the documents or didn't have the right certification, notarization, or the apostille. And it will help you to move forward faster doing what you need to do, as well as the peace of mind knowing that whatever is on that document that's been translated has been certified by somebody who's a professional, and that those professionals can bear the weight of the responsibility that they've taken to translate your content into a new language. So I hope you have a great day. Hope this clarifies some things. Please like and subscribe to this video, and we'll see you in the next one.